Europe's landscape is covered with castles that look too magical to be real. Fortresses of kings, sanctuaries of faith, and palaces of pure imagination. In this video, we're counting down 10 of the most breathtaking, historically rich, and fairy tale perfect castles you can visit today. Each one carries a story of ambition, love, or obsession that shaped the world around it. Some sit on cliffs, others float on mist, and all of them prove that beauty can outlast time itself. Ready? Let's roam. Number 10. Edinburgh Castle, Scotland. Edinburgh Castle rises from an ancient volcanic rock like a crown over the Scottish capital. Its walls have witnessed nearly 1,000 years of conflict and coronation. From Robert the Bruce reclaiming it in the 1300s to the birth of Mary Queen of Scots. Inside, the Great Hall still echoes with the sound of armour, and the Stone of Destiny, used to crown Scottish monarchs for centuries, rests beneath vaulted ceilings. As dusk falls and the wind sweeps through the Royal Mile, city lights flicker below, and distant bagpipes drift through the mist. The castle doesn't just overlook Edinburgh, it defines it. Number 9. Corvin Castle, Romania. In Transylvania, Corvin Castle stands on a stone cliff above a rushing river, its turrets and bridges silhouetted against the Carpathian Mountains. Built in the 1400s by John Hunyadi, one of medieval Europe's great generals, it guarded a land caught between empires and legends. The castle's Gothic halls once hosted nobles and soldiers, and rumour claims Vlad the Impaler was chained in its dungeons, a story that refuses to die. At night, torchlight ripples across iron gates and shadowed courtyards, turning its history into theatre. Corvin isn't polished or perfect, but it's a living monument to ambition and myth that still stirs the imagination 6 centuries later. Number 8. Malbork Castle, Poland. On the banks of the Nogat River, Malbork Castle stretches like a red brick city. Built in the 13th century by the Teutonic Knights, it became the headquarters of a crusading order that ruled northern Europe with faith and fire. Within these vast walls, monks prayed in chapels, while soldiers sharpened swords, and merchants traded amber that glittered like captured sunlight. Conquered, bombed, and rebuilt brick by brick, Malbork has survived empires and wars to become one of the largest brick structures on Earth, glowing crimson at sunset as the river mirrors its reflection, a fortress transformed into a monument of endurance. Number 7. Hohensalzburg Fortress, Austria. High above Salzburg, Hohensalzburg Fortress sprawls across a mountain ridge, its white walls shining against the green of the Alps. Begun in 1077 by a prince archbishop and enlarged over centuries, it symbolized both faith and authority, sheltering rulers through wars and revolutions. Within, gilded chambers reveal a life of unexpected luxury, where bishops dined beneath painted ceilings as bells rang through the valley below. From the ramparts the entire city unfolds, baroque domes, winding streets, and distant peaks, a panorama where church and state, heaven and earth, seem to meet in stone. Number 6. Eltz Castle, Germany. Deep in the forests of the Moselle Valley, Eltz Castle stands hidden among trees like something dreamt rather than built. Raised in the 12th century and still owned by the same family, it survived every war that swept across Germany by choosing diplomacy over battle. Turrets pierce morning mist, timbered walls lean gently with age, and inside hang armor, portraits, and letters untouched for 800 years. When dawnlight filters through the valley and the forest begins to breathe, Eltz feels less like architecture and more like memory, a fairy tale that never ended. Number 5. Alcázar of Segovia, Spain. The Alcázar of Segovia rises from a rocky cliff, where 2 rivers meet, its walls curving like the bow of a ship sailing through the sky. Built on Roman foundations and later favored by Spain's monarchs, it became the royal seat of Queen Isabella I, who was crowned here before she financed Columbus's voyage. Gilded ceilings shimmer with Moorish patterns, while panoramic windows open onto the golden plains of Castile. This was the starting line of an empire, and the inspiration for the silhouette that would become every storybook castle drawn since. Number 4. Château de Chambord, France. In the Loire Valley, Château de Chambord rises from morning fog like a vision of geometry and grace. Commissioned by King Francis I in 1519, it embodied the ideals of the Renaissance, beauty through balance and innovation. Its double helix staircase, believed to be the work of Leonardo da Vinci, lets two people ascend without ever meeting, a masterpiece of design and symbolism. Hundreds of spires and chimneys form a skyline of stone lace reflecting in the surrounding moat. Though Francis spent only a few weeks here, the castle remains his most enduring triumph, a place where imagination learned to stand upright. Number 3. Pena Palace, Portugal. High above Sintra's forested hills, Pena Palace bursts with color, reds, yellows, and blues glowing through drifting cloud. Built in the 1800s by King Ferdinand II, it fused Gothic arches, Moorish domes, and romantic fantasy into a single masterpiece. Artists and writers flocked here, calling it a dream painted against the sky. On misty mornings, the palace seems to hover, then blaze to life in sunlight, its terraces overlooking the Atlantic far beyond the trees. In a century obsessed with reason, Ferdinand built something purely emotional, a reminder that creativity itself can be royal. Number 2. Mont-Saint-Michel, France. Off Normandy's coast, Mont-Saint-Michel rises from tidal flats like an apparition. Legend says the Archangel Michael appeared here in the 8th century, commanding a bishop to build a sanctuary atop the rock, and for 1,000 years monks obeyed. When the tide rushes in, the mount becomes an island. When it recedes, a pathway of shimmering sand connects it to the mainland. Pilgrims once crossed that shifting ground, guided by faith and the stars. Inside, stone stairways spiral through chapels and crypts that echo with centuries of prayer, and from the spire, light flashes across the bay like a signal to heaven itself. Number 1. Neuschwanstein Castle, Germany. In the Bavarian Alps, Neuschwanstein Castle rises above forests and lakes like a dream rendered in stone. King Ludwig II built it in the late 1800s as a refuge from politics, dedicating it to the legends and music of Richard Wagner. Inside, murals depict knights and swans, gods and heroes, the myths Ludwig longed to live among. He died before its completion, leaving behind a monument to longing itself. Soon after, the castle opened to the public, and millions have climbed its winding path ever since. Its white towers inspired Disney's logo and every imagined palace that followed. But standing before it, you realize the fantasy was real all along. Across a continent and 1,000 years, these castles have outlasted kings, wars, and time itself. What began as fortresses became poems in stone, each one built by dreamers who refused to believe beauty was temporary. From Scotland's cliffs to Bavaria's peaks, their towers still rise, whispering that wonder never truly fades. Which of these castles would you want to explore first? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more cinematic journeys through history and travel. Until next time, keep roaming.